Yeah, we're very excited to have you in Australia coming up next month. Your first time in Australia. How long have you been trying to get down here?
Well, forever, I would say. It's one of those things we nag to the people we work with about the places that we haven't been to yet,
Mm.
all the time. But it's that being said, doing the first time, the first is always the hardest. You need that foot in the door, and then it's up to you to, prove yourself and make that statement. And we just need to make sure that now people who want us to come, and I know there are quite a few, uh, if they show up, so we can make that statement, then it won't take this long until next time. We're not going to wait another bunch of decades. I want to make it part of our regular circuit.
Yeah.
So, and it's, it seems very promising. And frankly, I mean, this is the sales pitch, but it's also, I very sincerely feel that we have never been better as a band on stage. So if there's any time to see us, it is now.
Oh, that's good to hear. And obviously, with the new album and all that, you must be doing a lot of touring this last few months or so.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got not even halfway, but we done a month of US, month of Europe, and we got more of that coming up in the coming year.
Mm.
Um, and also we had an amazing festival first part of the festival season over here in Europe, where I feel like we turned a corner everywhere we went. So it's been really good and really busy, and really everything has been exactly as it's supposed to be as far as the band is concerned, which also again brings that steam to. And now we got a little bit of a rest, which means we'll be have all of that in us, but at the same time be pretty damn fresh once we hit your shores.
Yeah. And what can the fans expect? Because it's your first time here. Will there be any sort of special surprises? What's the plan for you guys?
I think it's fair to say that well, we made every show special to the best of our ability so
Mm.
far, so that will just continue like that. I mean, we spend up to 2 hours on stage every night, and but in my opinion, flies by. So, and as much of the theatrics that we are able to fly over
Mm.
comes with us, or with the core of that. We have done our homework, and we are a solid rhythm section, and we will make you shake your hips in a way that you didn't think was possible.
Yeah, no, it's good. And obviously, a lot of people is going to be for their first time seeing Avatar. Like if you were to describe to people who hadn't seen the band before, even though they might be familiar with the music, what would you say is your live show like? Because you mentioned like theatrics and stuff like that, and I've seen photos and video footage of you guys, and there is a lot of things happening on stage. But how would you describe that to fans who've never seen you before?
It's a metal circus, and that doesn't mean circus metal. That would be
Mm.
silly. But a metal circus for sure, 100%.
Mm.
Uh, we've taken a lot of things from different things that have inspired us. We are rooted in when we learned to play, we played death metal, technical death metal, melodic death metal, all these different things.
Mm.
Uh, so that's at the core of it. Apart, then we are as much a heavy metal band and a rock and roll band. So it's that the dark times and the good times blend to this, I don't know, the greatest feast at the end of the world kind of energy. That's it. So yeah, again, a metal circus.
The latest album, Dance Devil Dance, has been doing really well. Like a lot of critics have been sort of raving on about it. It's been hitting the charts really high. But how has the response been from the fans in the audience when you've been playing the songs live? How has that been so far?
Extremely good. And I mean, like when you play your shows, that's of course you do it in front of people that are very receptive to what you're doing, and
Mm.
also people who dare to bother reaching out to you usually do because they have something nice to say.
Yeah.
That being said, my opinion, and I stand by it, that this is the best album we have done. And I think us feeling like that and what we have done translates uh, well to people feeling similar things. So yeah, we have only so far only been able to touch half of the album as far as bringing it in, putting it in a set list, but all of them already feels like complete staples alongside, you know, those songs that you have to, out of tradition, keep playing.
Mm.
No, it's just been great all across the board.
What's the process like for set lists? You know, like every with a new album coming into the works and sort of readjusting the set list. Is that a difficult process for you guys? Is that fun? How do you sort of work that out?
Difficult, sure, but also both. I would say it's a long process. Well, again, like we to balance moving forward and bringing in where we are at right now into the show and involve the stage show and do justice to new material alongside with doing that, while also at the same time you want to balance that with uh tradition, you know. And when I see Judas Priest, if Rob Halford doesn't say breaking the what, I will
Mm-hmm.
feel that something is missing, right? So you have those two things to balance. Then you have, you know, the theatrical aspect of ideas for bells and whistles, and what music that will fit with. And then you have also those songs that a rotating seat of, you know, you got your freshest material, then you have the staples, uh, and then you also have those things that somewhat deeper cuts that you know is going to be the best moment of the show for a third of the audience, and
Mm-hmm.
you want to hit all thirds, all three thirds with something and give that extra thing to push it over the edge. So you start to really try to make those selections and then structure it, like envision. Maybe first, how's the show gonna begin and how's it gonna end? You know, you build those big pillars, and then between that comes a bridge of whatever else you have um, with those other moments and just how they fit into each other. Because it's also, you know, when we get songs that are proper death metal songs, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
songs that relies on a disco beat, then it matters a lot where you've been dynamically to where you go next in order to feel like it builds and it's, you know, peaks and valleys. So it's
Yeah.
a thought process. You lay a puzzle, you choose out a whole lot of pieces, like too many than you need, then you start to lay them out. And
Mm-hmm.
this time we really, for this tour cycle so far, we usually make more changes than we have at this point, but we really nailed it from that standpoint.
Yeah. So was that because I mean, like when you actually write and record new songs, do you actually think about how that might translate to the live stage at all?
Not explicitly like that, I don't, you know, because that might end up that you, I always feel I would write in terms of special effects almost then, you know, this creates this moment, that creates that moment.
Mm.
And that is not why I write. Yeah, I write the songs, you know, of course to record and put them out there, but even more so to do it on stage. I think that goes for the whole band. But it's just a good song is a good song and it will find its place live because I've been to great punk shows and to great progressive shows all the same. You know, things done right end up being good in the way they need to be good. So I don't need to chase the specific, oh, what's the best tempo for people to jump in? You know,
Mm.
you write a song, you love a song, and you realize it makes me want to jump, and then you build from there. But you just, I think it's better to treat the music as music first.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I guess the process is different for a lot of, different bands and stuff like that. But I'm always curious that with that because sometimes you I guess when you sort of rehearse the songs or whatever and you can, oh, this might not work live. I mean, do you come across songs at all where you've tried to play them live and it didn't quite work out, or has that never happened or
The one thing we did like that was back in the days of Hail the Apocalypse. Uh, how we recorded that, we recorded that in Thailand, and on the flight there, we watched this documentary, Sun City Studios, that they all put out about basically buying the console, the new console from that studio, and then
mm,
inviting musicians who had been there back through the years and recorded with them. And it's all about recording live and all those things. So we did. Hail Apocalypse became the first album that we kind of pretended we were Led Zeppelin and just hammered it out together in the studio. And as we did that, we, uh, you know, towards the end, I was like, okay, that was cool. We have never done a cover like that. You know, we played covers in the early days, of course, but we have never done it. And nowadays, you know, it's not necessarily something we love doing, but at that time it made sense. And it's a little
mm,
tribute to when brainstorming, what could we then do? Tim suggested, you know, like Something in the Way. So that's too good. And we made this doom metal version of Nirvana Something in the Way, which was one of the songs recorded in the studio that that documentary was about. So then we have that cover, and we only played it live once, and you could just feel that as cool as it sounds on the album and cool and fun of an idea was at the time, it just didn't, you know, it wasn't our song to the same degree as other things were. So we only did that once. It's just connects with us more deeply if it's our own stuff, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. So take us way back to the very beginning for you personally. Like, how did it all begin for you? As far as like wanting to be in a music band and play music and all that stuff. Like, who was the sort of your sort of main influences that kind of drove you into music?
As a very little kid, I mean, 4 or 5 years old, I grew up in a household where music was played and a lot of different stuff, but I guess more than anything, I remember hearing classical music, and Beethoven was immediately a favorite. And having seen on TV or in a book or something, the symphony orchestra and the conductor, and made me want to be a conductor for a symphony orchestra.
Okay.
So I would play that. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I would stand on a chair, take a spatula or something from the kitchen and wave it around and be a conductor while putting on a Beethoven CD. So that is really the beginning before the beginning. And they put me in front of a piano when I had piano lessons as a kid. And, so music was something I was doing since, before all of this came into my life. Yeah. I was already drawn to it. As far as heavy music, well, then the first proper band was, again, from parents, is the Beatles. Something about them on the TV, I got hooked quickly, and Dad put on the vinyls that he had, and then he started around that time to buy them all on CD, the catalog, and I would probably listen to them 100 times more than he did. So that's kind of already solidified, and that was just a question of when I discovered metal, because it's funny, like between Vivaldi and Beethoven and Mozart and Bach and whatever, Beethoven Fifth Symphony in particular was the heavy one, so the one I liked the most. And as a kid watching TV, I liked the Addams Family theme song because that was the spooky one. Like you kind of, without knowing as a little kid, already on your way somewhere. Yeah. So then through my brother, he started to listen to all these, the greats of German power metal was Blind Guardian, Halloween. That was a huge deal. And alongside of that, a lot of metal, a lot of the classics started to really have a second coming in late 90s, especially Black Sabbath's Reunion, kind of, I guess, put them in the airwaves in a way where I caught on to that. And so really starting with Black Sabbath alongside the Germans. And, then the typical journey of any kid, and then hit your teens and, it can go faster. Wow. And, you discover your death and black metal and everything. And then it's your typical journey. But it really starts with standing on a chair, waving a spoon, pretending you're a
So I guess you always wanted to be kind of a frontman, so to speak, then.
I didn't know it, but yes, like I was asked or suggested to do it, or suggested to start writing lyrics and stuff, which was lucky because not maybe being a shy kid or whatever, I didn't necessarily think like that for myself. I didn't, I guess, no, that's not even true. I was writing music as an 8-year-old. Not saying I was writing good music, but between playing with your action figures and watching your cartoons and playing your computer games and stuff, another way past time I did was coming up with music. So, and then the lyrics part, I guess, also liked as a kid, actually. No, so it was all, in hindsight, it was all kind of there already. But then I guess at that age, a lot of different things were kind of there. You like video games, so you wonder. So with some friends, you were pretending that you were making video games instead of making music and stuff. So it could have been other things. Then you could also probably have seen how it relates to what you played as a kid. But music was clearly one of the main ones.
Yeah, cool. So at what point did you kind of realize that you could actually do this, as a full-time sort of career?
Well, that mindset was there very early on, long before there was any reason to think so. We thought so anyway. And then it's been a slow transitional purpose to losing money to play, breaking even to play, making a little bit to play, and now paying mortgage to play.
with band pay, you know. So it's been a slow process as we've grown, you know, organically, and a lot thanks to ourselves and a very tiny clique of people that we've been working with in terms of management and stuff. Then we kind of sat comfortably in that, you know, working our asses off with a band, but kind of keeping a bit of work on the side, you know, was a safety railing that it took a while to just let go of. And now we are where we are now, where it's just the music.
Yeah, very cool to hear, because obviously it can be difficult, especially in the music industry, to kind of, you know, make it, so to speak. So it's been obviously an interesting journey. So do you have any final words or any messages or anything like that for the Australian fans before you come over?
I think I already said that important part of that. We have never been better. Now's the time to see us. So get your tickets, you know. And that being said, if I don't see a kangaroo, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, you know, is there anything in Australia that you would like to sort of see and do at all?
I think time would be very limited on this run, but the beautiful thing of when you go somewhere for the first time, over time, I intend to see it all, see Ayers Rock and whatnot.
Yeah.
And book a gig in the Sydney Opera and take a selfie outside of it. You know, over time. First time you go somewhere, it's enough to walk into a grocery store or see the street lights to really get a, you know, oh, this is different. I look forward, that's a treat that you get once for each place you go to. And I look forward to that more than anything. Although it sounds a bit mundane, but it's a big deal to me.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I totally get it. So I know what you mean. Well, look, thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it. And look, good luck on this Australian tour, and hopefully it's the first of many for the future.
Thank you very much. But I don't need luck. I'm a professional. Thanks, man.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.